Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, students. It's your period of English. Today is 8th September 2020 and the day is Tuesday. It's our week number 8, and similarly we are completing our unit number 8, the number room. We haven't discussed its words meaning and not made its reading, but we have to do some parts of its exercises. For example, in our yesterday lesson we completed our part B1 and C2. Today we are going to do our part number 3 of exercise C, and the other topic of our today's lecture is of translation, that is the future continuous tense. Okay, let's start our lesson of today. Our today's topic is adjective phrases. Adjective, is the word that tells us or that describes the quality of any noun, that tells about the quality or quantity of any noun. For example, big, large, small, little, happy, enough, white, red, all these are adjectives. These are telling about the quality of any noun. Phrases you have already learnt what is a phrase. We discussed it in our previous lessons. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words that doesn't give a complete sense or meaning. It is a group of words that does not have a verb, a finite verb, and can't convey a full meaning, can't convey a sensible meanings to you. So, an adjective phrase is a group of words that contains some adjective, that has some word that will describe the quality of any noun. Okay, let's start our exercise. Here is your exercise. You have some sentences. Students, do you remember we have done an exercise similar to this exercise in your unit number 7, the story of Kish? You discussed and you have done an exercise on page number 87. In that exercise you had replaced the adjective phrases by adjectives of similar meanings. So I hope you have come to know that what is our today's topic and what we are going to do in our today's exercise. This exercise is also similar to that exercise of unit number 7. In this exercise we have some sentences at page number 102, part A to E. In this exercise you have some words written in italics form, and these words are adjective phrases. You have to replace these adjective phrases with the adjectives of similar meanings. Here the adjective phrase has come after the noun, but when you will replace these words with an adjective, the adjective will come before the noun. So come to the sentence. The first part is the horse with the injury did not run in the race. The sentence is the horse with the injury. With the injury is written in italics form. This is adjective phrase and you have to replace it with an adjective. So the adjective will come before the noun, and the noun you have in this sentence is horse. You have to tell the quality of the horse that is injured. The horse is injured. So the word injured will come before the noun. The injured horse. When you will replace this adjective phrase, you will not use the words with the injury, you will only use the word injured. The injured horse. It will be used like a past participle. The injured, injured. The injured horse did not run in the race. Clear? In part B, थोड़ा सा explain तो नहीं. The boy with the dark hair is my cousin. Here someone is telling you about his cousin, that the boy who has some dark hair, whose here have some dark color is his cousin. The boy is telling that the boy with the dark hair. He is making a demonstration to any boy and telling that the boy with the dark hair is my cousin. Here the words with the dark hair is adjective phrase and you have to replace it with the word dark haired. Okay, dark haired. The words with the will be omitted and you will rewrite the sentence like this: the dark haired boy is my cousin. The dark haired boy is my cousin. Here with the dark hair phrase will be changed into only a single adjective, that is dark haired. The dark haired boy is my cousin. Part C. They felt pity. Felt pity means here means to feel sympathy for someone. They felt pity for the man without any money. They felt pity or they had some sympathy for the man that had no money, that had no penny, that had no coin to spend on his necessities. So you will replace the words without any money, that is adjective phrase, with a single adjective and you rewrite the sentence like this: they felt pity for the penniless or poor man. Listen it carefully. Without any money will be omitted and you will use a single word, that is penniless or poor. They felt pity for the penniless or poor man. Penniless or poor will come before the noun, that is man. The man was without any money. The man was penniless. The man was poor. They felt pity for the penniless poor man. Part D. His explanation was out of the ordinary. That means was not according to the standards, was not usual. His explanation was out of the ordinary. It did not help us at all. In this sentence, out of the ordinary is an adjective phrase and you have to replace it like this: his extraordinary explanation did not help us at all. The construction of the new sentence will be totally changed from this. You have to rewrite the sentence like this: his extraordinary explanation did not help us at all. The word was, out of the ordinary, and it. All these words will be left out and you have to rewrite the sentence like this: his extraordinary explanation did not help us at all. Understand? Now come to our last part, that is E part. The cave under the water was full of coral of great beauty. The cave under the water was full of great beauty. The words full of coral will be replaced like this: the underwater cave was full of beautiful coral. I have shown you the answers of these parts from A to E part. You can learn them and rewrite them in your homework notebooks. I hope everything is clear to you. Our exercises of this unit are completed today. Our second part of our today's topic is future continuous tense. That is a part of translation. An important question in your English B syllabus. Future continuous tense. This tense is telling that there is some action that will be completed in the coming time or in the future time. Future means the coming time, the time for which you have to plan something. Continuous means any action that will be continued, that will remain to be continued for a certain time. So this tense shows an action that will be continued in the coming town. Examples: I shall or I will be visiting my grandparents. I shall or will be visiting my grandparents. Number two, the doctor will be checking the patient. Here you have been told about two actions in which someone is planning that he will be doing this action in the future time. For example, I will be visiting my grandparents and the doctor will be checking the patient, or my mother will be cooking meals, or my father will be going for his job. Any sentence. Now we will discuss how you can translate this sentence into English. If you have a sentence of future continuous tense, how will you identify that this is future continuous tense, and how will you translate that sentence into English? First of all, you will identify, and for the identification, you will find the words रहा होगा, रहे होंगे, रही होगी, रहा होगा, and this part will come at the end of the Urdu sentence. For example, वो घर जा रहा होगा, हम खाना खा रहे होंगे, वो अपने वालिदैन से मिलने जा रहा होगा, etc. The next step is how to translate this sentence into English. First of all, you have to find where is the subject, who is the doer of the action. When you identify the subject, then you come to the next step, that is to use the helping verbs will or shall. Shall is not in common use now, but you can use it, but try to use the helping verb will. Okay. The next step is to use the word be. In the next step, you have to use the fourth form of verb, that is present participle form, that you make with the present form and by adding ing at the end. For example, going, walking, climbing, eating, drinking, sleeping, all these are present participle forms, and at the end you will add object or any other complements. Okay. Now let's see some other method. If you have a negative sentence, you will add the word not after will or shall. Listen carefully. If there is a negation in the sentence, there is refusal to do any work, you will use the word not in the English sentence, and this not will come after will or shall. That sentence will be your negative sentence. For example, I shall not be going to my grandparents. They will not be doing their homework. And if you have a sentence which has some interrogation, which has some question, which has some inquiry, you will use the helping verbs will at the start of the sentence, and at the end of the sentence you will use a interrogation mark that will identify that there is a question in the sentence. Okay, and this will add to your marks. Here are some examples. In positive sentence, the arrangement of sentence will be like this: I shall be going to visit my uncle tomorrow. I is the subject, shall helping verb, be is the addition, and going is the fourth form of the verb. I shall be going to visit my uncle tomorrow. Negative sentence, he will not be sleeping right now. He will not be sleeping. Not has been added after the helping verb will. And in the interrogative sentence, helping verb has been used in the start of the sentence before the subject. Will she be cooking meat today? Will she be cooking meat today? Okay. Students, this was our topic of today, and your home assignment is find any 5 future continuous sentences from any English grammar book and translate them into English following the formula given above. Okay, and send this assignment to determine your presence. And your homework for today is complete the exercise C2 and C3 in your notebooks. Okay, hope You might have enjoyed your lesson. Tomorrow we will start our new topic, that will be future perfect tense. Okay, thank you very much.